Hello, hello, everyone. Okay. Hello, good evening. I'm coming to you live from Ohio. So type into the chat where you are tuning in from and what grade level you represent. Hi, everyone. Oh, I've missed you. Hi, Yasmin. What grade level are you representing? Hello, hello. Hi, Sahi from Ohio. There you are. Good. All right. So I know we've got 2028 in the house. That's great. And Yasmin, remind me what year you represent? From New York. You guys that are on East Coast time, you always kill me. It's 9 o'clock here. It's like literally past my bedtime if I was in California. Uh, okay. Awesome. Okay. Hello. If you're just joining us, hello from Ohio. I am still not back at home yet. So, but I've definitely missed you being live every week. So, welcome. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome to our family. And tell us where you're tuning in from and what grade level you represent. And we're just going to get started in just about 1 minute. Grade 11. Yes. 2026. Yasmin, do I have to? I know. 6 months. 6 months from hitting submit on that first application. Crazy, right? I know. Okay. Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started, mostly because I feel your pain. Like now, doing this live from Ohio, I'm like, it's 9 o'clock. Let's get started. Okay, go ahead and continue. You can continue. I'm looking at my chat right here over to my right-hand side. But just let me know where you're tuning in from and what grade level you represent so I know who's in the house, okay? But we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to jump right in. Okay, let's see. Present your screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yes, perfect. Okay, well, hello everyone. Welcome to How Admission Officers Decide Who to Admit and Who to Deny, the 4 questions you need to know. I am your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon. And again, if you're just tuning in, I am tuning in to you live from Ohio. I'm here at the birthplace where I wrote my first book. And so I try to come back here once a year just to get a little bit of writing, a little bit of thinking done. So welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and start by, I always like to say that college admissions is not fair. If you thought it was, you're in for, sort of a rude surprise. But I'm going to walk you through today sort of why I say this so often and what it means to you. So what you may know is that the number of applications has continued to increase over certainly the last 10 years, really in the last 20 years, exponentially. So if you're Gen X like me, like holler, say, can I get an amen? You might have just known to wake up, take the SAT one time, apply to about 5 colleges, and that was really the end of that. But over time, applications have gone up. So you might know that already, but you may not know why. And so I'm going to give you a quick little history lesson, and that is this. In the mid to late 80s, there's this little thing called the US News and World Report. I know you've heard of that. And they decided that they were trying to get more readers. Really, it was just a matter of how do we get more readers to our magazine? And they decided to come up with this list of colleges and rank the colleges. And who doesn't love a good list, right? Who doesn't pay attention to that top 10 list on Netflix, or you go and you go to Yelp, or you go to anything and you're trying to find the top 10 best of anything. So that's what Americans sort of turned to, and they ate it up. So since then, it's really become sort of a business. The college admission industry has become a business because it really comes down to running to climb the charts on that little pesky ranking sheet. So that's a little bit, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but that's a little tiny bit of a history lesson for you. Okay. So before I dive into giving you all of these tips and whatnot, you might be thinking, well, who are you? Who's Dr. Cologne? And sort of what's my background? So I'll give you a quick story. This is me when I was young, and I'm a daughter of an immigrant mother, and she had dreams of going to college, but she wasn't really encouraged too much from her own mother and from her own household. So she made it her own mission to make sure that her three daughters made it to college. And it was never a question of if we were going to college, but rather where we were going to college. And so she replaced the word if with the word when you go to college. She knew I had a dream of, my dream college was USC, the University of Southern California. And she met someone, the Santa Claus looking man here, by the name of Mr. Raul Vargas. She met him when I was a sophomore. She didn't really tell me, but she held onto his business card and he said, when you're ready, let me know. And so she had the courage to ask for help, much like you are doing today. Just making a priority to get the help and the answers that you need for yourself, for your child, to get them to where they want to be. So she held onto that card. She drove me north on the 110 freeway in a brown Oldsmobile, and there we got the advice from him, just like you're getting advice from me today. So it's really because of him and because of her that I do what I do. So thank you, Mom. 4 years later, I was graduating from my dream college. So there I am. After USC, I fell in love with my experience there. I wanted to continue, and I wanted to work in student affairs and work with students at the college campus. That's what I thought anyway. So I got my master's degree from Teachers College at Columbia University. There's my best friend from high school who flew out to be with me and my entire family for graduation. And then from there, really sort of fast forward to much later. It was about 2016 that I wrote my first book. This is actually my second book, the second edition, and that came out in 2023. So Be Committed, Get Admitted. It's also in Spanish, and you can order it on Amazon. And it's really this was the place of that birth of that first book. So there you go. I've gone on to do a number of TV interviews and TED Talks, so you can look it up. But it's been a great journey. And really my mission is to continue to give as much information as possible to as many people as possible, because I know, like me and like my mom, we just didn't have enough information that it just wasn't available to us. So there you go. Okay. All right, so here is a photo of me with Gary Clark. Gary Clark is the vice president of enrollment at UCLA, and I interviewed him on my podcast. It's now been years ago. But then this is what I remember clearly that he said to me. So you may want to tattoo this to your brain. You may just want to write this down. And that is, he said, think less of what you think we want to hear and more about what you need to say. Okay, let me just say that one more time. He said, think less about what you think we want to hear and more about what you need to say. I just thought that was really a great thing to say because UCLA receives the most number of college applications in the entire United States, which is really in the entire world. So there you go. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So not to worry. Okay, and I do apologize. I'm sure the lighting I'm not in my studio in my office and in LA, so just bear with me today, okay? Here in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you some actionable steps. You know how I like to roll. You're not going to just walk away with information, but you're actually going to walk away with what are things you need to do right now. So I'll talk about the 3 behind-the-scenes truths, 4 questions that the admission officers ask. I'll give you strategic to-dos, again, actionable items, and then I'll share with you how we get results for our students. So sound good? All right. Now, here, I'm going to give you these 4 things. And then if you can type into the chat, number 1, 2, or 3, what are you most looking forward to? Okay. So you're going to walk away today in the next 45 minutes. You're going to walk away with knowing the one document you need a copy of. You're going to walk away knowing which teachers to ask and why. You're also going to walk away knowing the difference between a passion project versus an impact project. And you're going to know also why you need multiple essays. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, or 4. Type in the chat which one you're most excited about learning today. I'll give you 1 second. Okay. Hi, Penelope. Okay. So when you're looking on the screen, these are the things you're going to leave with. So type into the chat what you're most excited about. Understand? Oh, the teachers, the project. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, you're all correct, and it's always something a little bit slightly different for everybody. So, all right, let me pop over here. Great. Okay, let's keep going. So, who's this for? So, you are probably one of these three folks in terms of parents. Most of your parents, you're either the holy smokes parent, like when did this get so competitive, and why? You or might be the now what parent. Maybe you have a maybe your child, your student is already doing all the right things. And so you're just needing like, okay, we need help to get to the finish line. So the now what parent. And you might also be, or you might be the first rodeo. The first rodeo is like my mom. Like I was not only was she had never been through the process herself. So it was her first time going through the process, but I was also her oldest child. So it's either your firstborn or you yourself have never been through the process. Okay. So you're usually one of these three. So you can type into the chat which one is most resonates with you. But those are the parents that we tend to attract to what we do. Okay. Okay. So here's the thing. Should college admissions be fair? Yeah. Everybody says, yeah, raise my hand. Yes, it should be fair. The definition of fair is impartial and just without favoritism or discrimination. So when you really think about that, and as I apply this definition to what I'm about to share with you, you kind of start to see basically why it's never going to be exactly fair as we define it. So here's what I learned about fair. So those of you who don't know, I worked at Vassar College. It's a college in Poughkeepsie, New York. I just like saying the word Poughkeepsie, but it's about 2 hours a train ride from New York City. And it's one of the most beautiful campuses I've been to. So, but I learned everything I learned most of what I know from my time there. So let's just share. Here are some insights. The first thing I learned by working in college admissions at an elite liberal arts college is this. There are 5 tiers of high schools, and it does really matter where you go to high school. So just what I mean by that is you need to know sort of where you are in terms of where you go to high school so that you can be proactive about how you access and with the information and the expert guidance that you get on the back end. Okay. So there are 5 levels of, or 5 tiers of high schools. And the very tippy top are private independent schools. These are schools that there are only about 1,300 schools across the country. And then the next level is private, and then religious, and then charter, and then public schools. Okay. So I learned that first thing. The second thing I understood was that there are relationships that admission officers have with different schools. And so to give you an idea, I was, my territory included California, all of California, all of Florida, half of Texas, and a number of other states, including Minnesota and Kansas, North and South Dakota, et cetera. So I was in charge of understanding and had to know the high schools that I, that fell into my region. Okay. And when I would go and visit these states, I only had time to visit for about 4, maybe on a good day, 5 high schools in any given day. So the truth is, the majority of high schools I actually went to go visit typically came from the top 2 tiers of schools. Not always. There are a number of public schools I would visit as well, but typically the majority came from the top 2 tiers. There's a lot of reasons. I can answer those questions at the end to go into some more detail, but the truth is, at the end of the day, there were always going to be more students waiting for me and wanted the information about Vassar at those schools than there were likely to be at other schools. Okay, so that played a role into my schedule. The third behind the scenes truth that I really came to understand, and again, remember, I'm daughter of an immigrant mother, and went to public school myself. So I really understood like not all high schools are created equal. So again, to give you an understanding, those top two tiers of schools, 95% or more of those students are going on to 4-year colleges or universities. Okay. Then less than 50% typically from public schools or public charter schools. Now, if I find a public school that has above 50%, I'm like, wow, this is a really good school. Okay. And then the religious schools are somewhere in between. So those were some things, the key takeaways for me when I worked at Vassar and understanding the bigger picture of college admissions. So why are you here? If you've been wondering, like, are we doing enough? I don't want to get this wrong. If you're just thinking like, if my child doesn't get in, is it going to be my fault? I'm here to tell you you're in the right place and you're not alone. And plenty of parents are feeling the same way. And which is why I give you the background so that I can now move forward and tell you how you can empower yourself and take action today. Okay. Well, maybe not today, because if you're on the East Coast like me, it's late. So tomorrow. Okay. All right. So everything, like I said, everything I know really began here at Vassar. Vassar's in Poughkeepsie, New York. It's formerly one of the original 7 sister schools, sister to the Ivy League. Okay, so I took everything I learned from Vassar, and then when I went over to become the director of college counseling at a private girls' school in Los Angeles, I took everything I learned from Vassar and applied it. Now, I worked at this private girls' school in Los Angeles, and the head of school was in a hurry to make sure that the girls who go to this school were going to get admitted to top institutions. This is a private independent school where the tuition today is probably in the mid 50,000 plus. So that being said, we were in a hurry to make things work. So by applying what I knew just right away, students were admitted to Duke, Stanford, and Brown within the first 6 months of me being there. So I'm about to share all of that with you today. Okay. What makes us different is that everything I'm going to share with you today is based in actual data, actual students, actual results. It's not just sort of theory. It's actually based in over 20 plus years of doing this over and over again. So it works. And here are 2 of our success stories to kick us off as we go into the 4 questions. So here are two young women. On my left here is Jules. She's from, she went to Cornell. You can see right here. But both of these young women started preparing as sophomores. Okay, at least as sophomores. So Juliana is from New York, and Emily, to my right, is from California. Now, the only big difference here is that at the end of the day, they both had high dreams from the get-go. So, amen, or like raise your hand or type in the chat. Yes, that's me. If you're like, I'm the parent, my child has been dreaming of like some Ivy League school since I can remember. There are unicorns out there like that. So that was the truth for both of these young women. They got started very early in planning what they were going to do, making an action plan, and getting going. So by the time they were seniors or rising seniors, Juliana took our essay camp courses, but she also began working with me as her coach when she was much younger. And then Emily, she was doing all the right things on her own, and her mom thought she was going to be fine on her own, and then came to us and said, we need help with the essays. So either way, they both got admitted to their dream school. Okay, so here are the 4 questions. So here we begin with the things that you want to you can maybe take a screenshot of, or you can also just take notes. Okay, so we begin with the first question, number 1. How do you compare to your peers? Okay, this is a really key piece, because what you probably know is that your transcript matters, the rigor matters, how many A's are on your transcript, how many APs or IBs or honors courses are on your transcript. That's typically what I find most people know and talk about. What we specifically go into is the things that you may not know. Things you may not know are, 1, your GPA is going to be recalculated when it goes to, the GPA on the transcript is not your admission GPA. So in our courses, in our programs that we do, we teach students how to recalculate a GPA and what to do, what's included, what's not included. But by and large, you can you can remember this. It by and large is going to be recalculated with 10th and 11th grade and using the 5 academic food groups, as I call them. The 5 academic food groups include English, math, science, social science, and modern language or foreign language. Okay. Now, so this is some basic information, but what I really want you to understand is that your son or daughter is going to be compared to everyone else from that high school who's applying to a college. So I'm in Ohio, so I'm going to say everybody applying from your high school that applies to Miami University of Ohio or Indiana University, or I'll use some others, Notre Dame University, or wherever you're going to apply, everyone from your high school, you're competing against each other as a cohort. Okay. So I really want to drive that point home. Now, remember, I said you're going to learn the one document you need to have a copy of. Okay. So here we go. Okay. So you want to screenshot this, I promise you. So I'm going to try to briefly explain what a school profile is. Okay. What you need to have in front of you is a copy of your high school profile. So when I was reviewing the application from each student from the schools that I represent in all of California, Minnesota, wherever you lived in my region, I also had a copy of the school profile. The school profile gave me the demographic information. It gave me the average test scores from your school. It told me how many National Merit Scholars there were at your school. It told me what the AP scores were. It gave me a grade distribution. It showed me how many honors and APs courses, or it listed the honors and AP courses that were available to you. And key point, the good school profiles, the ones that did the best job, would also give me a list of colleges to which the students from your high school had been admitted to in the last 3 to 5 years. Okay. All of this information is really key for me understanding the context in which you come from. To give you a quick example, it's like if I see that the average test score, SAT scores, at your high school from the students coming from your high school is an 1100, that's much different than when I'm looking at a school where the average is 1300. Okay. So it gives me the context in which to review your application. So, okay. Here are some academic must-dos, and I'm going to tell you how to get a copy of the school profile, so not to worry. Okay, you want to maximize your opportunities, taking the maximum number of honors and AP courses that you're comfortable with, or IB courses, given what's available to you. You want to build a relationship with the counselor if you can, because the counselor may have, maybe the gatekeeper for you getting into more AP courses, or could be a number of things. Now, how do I get a copy of the school profile, Dr. Colon? No problem. I'm going to tell you. So you're going to type in you're going to go to Google and you're going to type in the name of your high school and then this word school profile. For example, you're going to type in Palo Alto High School school profile. Okay. Now it should come up as a PDF form. And if it doesn't, go to your website and see if you can find it through the school website. If you cannot find it, please call the school counselor and ask if you can get a copy of the school profile. It'll also show them that you're pretty savvy about this process. Not many people know. And in fact, most families I know that I've ever met, I can count on one hand how many had ever heard of the school profile. So if you learn nothing else, get a copy of the school profile. Good? Okay, let's keep moving. So this is Ryan, and Ryan attended one of those tier 1 schools, private independent school. But even so, his mom decided to enroll him in one of our programs as a sophomore. And later on, fast forward, her words, not mine. She said, you know what, Ryan was well more prepared for the process and did better, fared better in the final results. So again, her words, not mine. Okay. All right, let me just check to see if you guys have any questions or something that's come up. Okay, all right, good. Are you guys all still with me? Hi, everyone. Okay, give me a type in the chat, just the number 1 if you're like, if you follow, you're good. So a lot of information is like drinking water from a fire hose. Okay, it's a lot. Okay. I'd love to point these two students out. So on my right is Malik, and on my left is Cosette. Malik was our youngest student. He joined us as a freshman when we first got started, opening up to a number, any grade level. He was our first freshman to join. He's now at UVA. He's followed every single step that we gave him. He followed all the instructions. He showed up to all the group coaching and also became a peer mentor later. So he is happily at UVA. Cosette's story is much different. Cosette applied to college as a traditional age high school student when she was a senior in high school. She's from Maryland. And actually, Malik is from Virginia. And she's from Maryland, and her dream was to go to UC Santa Barbara. She was denied at every single college as a high school senior. And then she applied again as a community college student in her first year, again, denied everywhere. Her mom was on a call, much like you are today on this live masterclass, live webinar, and she heard me say the words, students aren't rejected, applications are rejected. And so right then she signed her up, and not only was Cosette admitted to a number of colleges, including her dream of college, UC Santa Barbara, she was also admitted to Berkeley. So just keep that in mind. Students are not rejected, applications are. Okay. All right. So I just invite you, if you want to be like Ryan or Cosette or Malik, this is always a good idea to just book a call with me. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. Here's question number 2. What do your teachers say about you? Okay, I think there was at least one person that put that in the chat. So, hi, Susan. All right. I just want to put that there. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, so now what you might know, or what most people talk about, is that, of course, you need letters of recommendation, and one is going to come from the counselor, and up to 2 are going to come from your teachers. So many people know that, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go ask the teacher who likes me the most. And that's actually not really exactly the advice that we teach. So just kind of keep that in mind. I can explain later. But what you may not know is that the purpose of the teacher recommendation is to verify and solidify. Okay, so verifying the grades, the academic performance, and the potential, and solidify really meaning like, oh, okay, adding this level of confidence. Now, when I'm reading your application, I'm getting a sense of sort of what kind of student you are intellectually, or what kind of academic student you are. Remember, you're going from one academic institution, high school, to another academic institution, college. So that at the end of the day, that's actually the main focus, is like, are you ready for the challenges of the academic rigors of college? So that's the main goal of the teacher. So again, when students ask me, should I ask the teacher who likes me the most? My first answer is like, I mean, that's a bonus if you're the favorite, but that's not the objective. And you have to remember that every single thing that you layer into an application should be adding value to your application. Okay. There's a difference between adding value and just adding extra information that probably it might be repeated somewhere else. So just keep that in mind. Now, don't get me wrong. Most teachers who end up writing your letters of recommendation also do like you, but I just caution students, don't start from that place. Think better about what do you need the teacher to say to add value. Okay. Here's an insider tip. This is a story that I just always like to share, because you might be surprised to hear this. So one of the biggest things to keep in mind is that teachers, just because they're really good teachers, they teach APs, does not mean they know how to write a letter of recommendation that adds value. And so very briefly, my first year at Marymount High School, the girls' school in Los Angeles, one of the teachers submitted a letter of recommendation, and it got sent back to us. So when it came back to our office, we opened up the letter just to see, what needed to be fixed. And when we opened the letter of recommendation from this teacher, who he himself had gone to an Ivy League institution, he taught an AP class, which is probably why she asked him. And he had just written just like 3 or 4 sentences on the back of the recommendation letter. This was her first choice. She was applying to an Ivy League school. And I learned really quickly, oh, wait a minute, we need to train our teachers what to do, what to say, and how to add value to the student's overall application. So from then on, we switched the way we approach the letters of recommendation, and that is what we teach our students how to do now. Okay, so it's just a little anecdotal story so that you understand, again, not every teacher knows how to add value. So we give our students a formula as to what to follow, what to do, what to ask, who to ask, when to ask, how to follow up, so that you're practically writing the letter of recommendation for the teacher to just take from you. This is a photo of Jonna, one of our students, who followed the entire formula. She came to us as a sophomore and then continued as a private client, working with me privately. Bonus, if you guys know who Craig Robinson is. Okay, you can type that into the chat. Well, I might have to send you a couple stickers in the mail, just if you know who that is. So that's Jonna at her orientation when she was admitted to Princeton. So there you go. Okay, these two young gentlemen are current seniors in high school. But you can see on the right-hand side, Ethan was admitted to Duke as an early decision applicant. He followed the whole teacher, like he followed exactly the pattern of what to do and how to get his teachers to write recommendations for him. He, like Jonna, is at a public school. So we really wanted to hone in on that. Mark here recently committed to going to USC. He was choosing between USC and Berkeley, but he too talks about the teacher process that we use. His teachers thanked him and praised him for what he did for them. So there you go. Okay, so here's some teacher must-dos. Okay, you're going to choose. Here's, again, action items. Action items. Write them down. Take a screenshot. Choose teachers who will know you well and can speak to your academic strengths. You're going to provide your teachers with some specific examples of what they should highlight in their letter of recommendation. And you also want to follow up with a small gift of thanks. That small gift can literally be a written thank you note. Like most people don't write thank you notes, handwritten notes anymore. So that would suffice. Also, a $5 or $10 gift card somewhere is fine too. Okay. All right. So you, again, invited to book a call if you want to be like Jonna or Mark or Ethan. Here's question number 3. How do you spend your time outside of the classroom? So here we go. We're going to talk about passion project versus impact project. Okay. So what you may know, and most people talk about, is that you've got to be involved, you've got to be active, you got to have things to put on your resume. Many people focus on community service because they think that is the answer to everything. I'm going to tell you right now, it is not. That's not what we teach. That's not what we preach. Okay. And I'll show you why we're different. So they focus on the community service more than necessary. And also many take an approach of like, I'm going to be involved in everything possible. And we take a different approach to being a little bit more strategic about what you do and how you spend your time. So I'm going to walk you through and give you an example. Not all activities are created equal. So we're going to take a look here. This is something you may want to take a screenshot of. This is really, I think, what everybody takes a screenshot of. So I'll walk you through very briefly. So level 1 of involvement. I developed this when I was working on my TEDx talk, but didn't come out with this until about within the last year. So the hierarchy chart is level 1, school involvement. 95% of everybody's going to be involved in something. The school leadership is level 2. So write this down. Think of selected or elected positions: student body presidents, class presidents, team captains, editors-in-chief, things like that. Okay. Coolness factor is what many know as a passion project or a passion. So we call it coolness factor or coolness project. A passion project or a coolness project is something that you do, your student does, whether someone paid them or gave them a grade for it. They just love doing it. Okay. They want to learn multiple languages. They want to do club volleyball. They have a part-time job. They love baking. They love, anything you can. They have hobby of collecting certain things. They love paddle boarding. They're a magician, whatever. Okay. I'm going to show you some examples of the difference, but I'm going to explain the difference here. So I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to show you examples. Got it? That's how we roll. The difference between level 3 and level 4, which is impact project. And if you work with us, we almost strongly encourage, or those of you who become elite or VIP clients, we minimally ask you to get to level 4. So level 4, we borrow from the Girl Scout Gold Award, which has 3 criteria. Write this down. The first criteria is that you solve a problem. The second criteria is that it's for a community that you're passionate about. And the third criteria is that you spend 80 hours or more. Okay. So leaving an impact, or what we call a legacy, doing something for others to benefit and solve a problem for another community, is really where we find that I've never had a student admitted to an Ivy League or an Ivy level institution without at least hitting level 4 and or level 5. Okay. So let me walk you through that. Okay. Here are 2 examples of level 3. It's a coolness factor. Both of these young women, Mira on my right and Gemma on my left, they're dancers, competitive dancers. They were on a dance team. Mira was a tap dancer, and Gemma was a modern dancer. They also did that at their school. They were on the cheer team or the dance team, something also for their school. Okay, perfectly fine, perfectly good passion project. Or coolness, what we call coolness factor. Okay, your coolness factor is this great thing that you do. Mira is at Berkeley. Gemma got admitted to Northeastern. She committed to Elon. Perfectly fine. Both these women did just fine. Here's the difference. Level 4 leadership is this. So Sienna did not meet level 2. She just wanted a project to do on her own. Now, Sienna herself, she was worried that, she was a solid kid, but she wanted to stand out, and she wanted to get admitted to something, to a better college than she thought she could get admitted to. Now, she thought she wanted to be a pediatrician, and she loved to sew and knit and crochet. So we merged those 2 things together. We found an organization for her called Beads of Courage. And what does that organization do? They help kids with cancer, a community that she loves. And they needed these bags to hold their milestone beads. Okay. So solving a problem for a community you love, spending 80 hours or more. So Sienna decided that she would sew 100 bead bags. 100 bead bags. And it took her about a year to do that. She could have said, that's a great organization. That's a great cause. I'm going to sew 10 bags. She could have even said 20 bags. I would have said, that's still going to be a passion project. That's still going to be something you love to do. And you did it, and good. But really leaving an impact was the commitment to do 100. So she did that and spent well over 80 hours to do that. Okay, so that's slightly different. I'll give you one more example that shows you all 5 levels. It's very rare, it's kind of a unicorn, that you find someone who meets all 5 levels. But in this case, Alexis does meet all 5 levels. So her level 3 was that she's on the dance team at her school, and they were also dance national champions twice when she was there. I know, crazy, right? And then level 4, she was doing a Girl Scout Gold Award project. And so she chose her project to be a 6-part, she interviewed 6 immigration lawyers for her 6-part education series on how to navigate the green card process. Okay, boom. So she does that project, which is level 4, but because of the intellect and all the research involved in that project, her actual level 4 actually covers both level 4 and level 5. Okay. All right. I went over that really quickly, so feel free to save your questions in a second. Okay, I'm going to just check over here. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Just wanted to check to see if you had questions along the way. All right, feel free to, you can type your questions as I go through. Okay, here are your co-curricular must-dos. Focus on activities that reflect your passion and impact and your intellectual curiosity. And then when you get to the application, those of you who are rising seniors, we help students really figure out how to actually put that concisely and in a compelling way, because that the application is whole nother mama. I'm sure I'll give lessons on in the fall. Okay, so don't overlook non-traditional activities like jobs and caregiving and unique hobbies. I'm telling you, the more unique you can be, the better, right? The tap dancer, I always think of Mira when she first started working with me. She's half Chinese, half Indian, tap dancer, competitive tap dancer. So she gets closer and closer to being a party of one. So that's really kind of what you're going for. Okay. Question number 4 is my favorite topic. Question number 4 is what is the story that you're telling about yourself? So this is the piece, like you what you may know and what people talk about is, needing a really strong essay or needing a great personal statement, or needing a great story. Many people, believe it or not, it's still out there that you need a sad story or a sob story or a tragedy and things like that. And I always say, like, you need to avoid the 4 Ds: death, divorce, devastation, and an actual D. Those are things that we actually say actively, like, don't write about those things. So you might be wondering why. So let me share with you a few things. So here are the most common topics. You want to avoid these things: community service, athletics, people, and life challenges. And so what I just described, the 4 Ds, that comes under the life challenges. So many parents and I still find students that say, like, "Oh, I don't have anything sad to talk about." I'm like, please trust me, you don't need a sad story. You need a good story. You need a compelling story. So those are the 4 most common topics. So you really want to try to avoid them because most students don't know how to make. It's possible to make these great, but it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy, and most students don't know how to do it well. Okay, I promise you. Just trust me on this. Okay. Here are my 2 Amelias. Sorry, I don't want you to confuse them, but Amelia on my right is from Texas, Houston, Texas, and Amelia on my left is from Asheville, North Carolina. Did I just say Asheville? Did I say that right? Yeah, Asheville, North Carolina. I just was there and met up with the family. So Amelia from Texas, she's pinned on my Instagram. She talks about she went to an tier 1 school, and her parents had the resource to give her a private tutor, which everybody thinks is the gold standard. And the private tutor, she went in, she said, "I went 6 times, 6 weeks, and sat in the office for 2 to 3 hours, and they would just say, go write." And they didn't give her much direction. She left and she still didn't have anything. She joined her essay camp, and in 5 days she left with, I think, 6 essays. Boom. Including the one that's pretty famous in our world. We talk about the chocolate. She wrote an essay about chocolate. Amelia from North Carolina, she was struggling, and so she came just fairly late. She was a referral, and her dad called and said, I think my daughter needs help. And she just was struggling as to what to write. She had her first choice was USC all the way across the country. Not many people, I think, from her high school, ever, I don't know if they applied or ever got admitted. So she struggled with using our formula. She got through it and she pushed through, and she came up with a great, great essay. It was very personal to her. So I won't share too much, but trust me, it's one of the ones I remember from that year. So both admitted to their top college by using the formula that we teach, that we've taught for over 10,000 students. Our essay writing formula is pretty spectacular. So here's Sean and John, my twins. I just went to see John in person. He's at North Carolina State. I met him for the first time in person. But Mom also found us when they were she found us late December of junior year, and then they joined our programs in the spring of junior year. So both very different students, and both going through the process, and they followed all of our steps, and now they're at their place. And it was great to see John. I can't wait for some of those videos and reels that we did together to come out. Okay, here are your essay must-dos. Okay. Start learning about the essay process. Read, watch, or listen. I have a number of things on my podcast, probably on my YouTube channel, and we are going to be coming out with more. The next several long-form videos that will be released, I think many of them are about essays. I actually did one and that's on the YouTube site that's called 68 Essays, something like that. So start learning about essays early. The sooner the better. The essay will take way longer than you think, and there's many more essays that you have to do. Now, I did promise you that I would tell you why you need so many essays. So I probably didn't do that. Let me just back up here. Okay, I don't have a slide for that. Okay, but I'm going to just stick here for a second. So are you sitting down? You should be sitting down for this information, parents. Okay, again, if you're Gen X like me, please type in the chat me, so I don't feel so alone. I wrote one personal statement for one college that I applied to. The other colleges I applied to didn't even require essays. Today, if you're from California, you apply to the University of California system. That's 4 essays already. Then if you're applying for everyone else, or if you're also applying using the common application, you're going to need one personal statement, which is 650 words. Okay. So if you're from California and Common App, now you're at 5. Okay. Then for every Common App school that you apply to, that your child applies to, and I don't know about you, but nowadays the average is somewhere between 8 and 12 applications, and many of our students apply to 15, maybe 18 colleges. So for every college you apply to and add to that list, each college is going to require an additional 2 to 7 more essays. Except Northeastern, they don't require any supplements. So there you go. So the number starts to add up very quickly. And so I do have students that report needing 18 essays or as many as 68 essays. So you do the math, okay? So there you go. That's why you need a number of essays to work with. And we teach students how to cover 4 different topics. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. Okay, my friends, here's some other success stories, and I'll show you a couple more things here if it's okay with you. Is it okay with you if I just share with you how we work with our students? I'll do that really briefly. Oh, I see. Oh. What is the essay camp and when does it take place? Oh, okay. I'm going to talk about that in 2 seconds. Hi, Yasmin. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to stop share because here's what you need to know. Stop screen. And I'm going to do the. Okay, present, share screen. Okay, so I'm going to share that we do 3 steps. So I've already shared with you. Can you see this? Is that what I'm showing now? Yeah. Okay. So this is the first thing we do. If you work with us, we use what we call the Ivy Success Formula. So we assess where you are on the chart now, and then we get a team of people to like say, this is what you need to do. And we take an inventory of what you have, what you're already working with, what you love, what your major might be. We take a look at a number of things to try and find how to quickly get you to level 4. Now you might be thinking, oh, I'm already a junior and like there's no time left. Actually, there's plenty of time. It may not be as robust, but like there's plenty of time. If you're willing to do the work, it's plenty of time to get to level 4. Okay. For those who are serious about Ivy level institute, an Ivy League or an Ivy level institution, then we really push for also the level 5, like I showed you with Alexis. Okay, so this is always step 1 for us because the academics should go unstated, but obviously you need the academic rigor to get your foot in the door to any of the colleges that you're shooting for. But then this is quickly number 2. Okay, so that's step 1 in our RV success formula. Step 2 is the essay. So Yasmin, or those of you who are wondering about essays, remember I said you need a number of essays. This is what we focus on. So what most people do is focus on the one personal statement, and they pour all of their time and energy into 70 to 80% of the personal statement, not really giving enough time and energy to all the supplements. So we teach this in essay camp. The students' goal is to leave with either solid drafts or like good drafts enough to send them off in these 4. So who am I? Essay, what am I good at? What's something cool about me, and why this major? This is the goal of essay camp. Why? Because if you can write these, then you have a group of essays that you can retool and repurpose again and again for the other 48 that you're going to need. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So this is step 2. Again, what most people do is focus on the one personal statement and not really give a lot of attention to the others. And so this is really key for us. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to show you something that you may not know. The third piece is that I did not talk about in the 4 questions because it's something that's specific to everybody. So your list of colleges of where you apply to. So those of you, I think some of you are freshmen, maybe sophomores, and then of course juniors. But the pieces I talked about are all the things you need to be doing like in school and getting all those pieces ready, right? The academics, get the transcript going, understand that it's your school profile, your teachers, all those pieces. But at the end of the day, where you apply to college should be something that sets you up for success. Okay. So what most people do is just Google what the acceptance rate is for each of the institutions. And you can Google that and you can find on College Board, you can find on Niche, a lot of places you can find the acceptance rate. What we do instead is really take a deep dive on the reports that are produced by the colleges, directly by the colleges. And we have done the homework for you. So if you're one of our students, you just got this last week. It's over 100 colleges that we've already done the research for you and have these numbers. So I'm just going to give you this example here. If you just take the Ivy League schools, these first 8 here, and I scroll over to here, these 2 columns, male and female applicants, you see that there is a clear winner as to which of the Ivies where one gender has an advantage over the other gender. Okay. So we take a look at a deep dive and we make sure that your list of colleges represents the leverage and the value that you're going to bring and how you're going to stand out. So now if I just scroll down a little bit and you look at MIT and Caltech, you're going to see that it's the complete opposite. So this is MIT and Caltech right here. And so this is the male number and this is the female number. Okay. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I'm going to stop share. I'm saying this because a number of things go into the list of colleges. It includes the understanding your school profile, where students from your high school have been admitted before. That plays a role. It includes which colleges value early decision applicants, out-of-state applicants, females, males. There are a number of factors that should go in to really being strategic about where you apply. Okay, so those are the 3 components. And again, everybody does it differently, right? Some focus on the passion project. We focus on the impact project and above. Some focus on the main personal statement. We focus on a cadre of essays that you need. Some people focus on just like figuring out what's the admit rate, and we focus on where are you going to have leverage. Okay, so those are the 3 biggest pieces that you get with working with us. Cool. Okay, I'll pause there to see if you have questions. And Yasmin, you had the first question about what are the dates of essay camp. So I'm going to give you those dates. Okay. So the dates are 2 in June and 3 in September, in August. June 16th, I should just type these in here, June 16th, we are in Northern California. You can be anywhere, you can be virtual, but then June 23rd, we will be in Manhattan Beach, California. Okay, so those are those 2 dates. And then the first 3 weeks of August. So August 5th is going to be, we're deciding between Orange County and LA, but it's likely to be in Orange County since we're doing one in LA. And then August, what's the next one? August 11th? August 11th is virtual only. And then August 18th, we are going to New York City. Yay. Okay. Again, for all of these dates, you can be virtual for any of them. But we have found we've been Zooming before Zooming was a verb, by the way, since well before COVID hit. So we've been doing this a long time, and it's perfectly fine. Students do well just by Zooming. But we do find that some families like to be physically there, which I get. So we are offering those dates. Okay. Okay. How can I sign up? Yasmin, love you. Okay, so I'm going to give you the link right now. Okay, let me share with you Yasmin, the truth is, like, I'm going to give you this link, but literally you either have to sign up tonight or just book a call with me, because we're transferring that link. If like I have two websites right now, and we're just going to close down the other one. So I can give you that link where it exists right now, and I'll actually show everybody. But I'm literally going to close it tomorrow, because we're moving it. Okay, I know I didn't really plan this very well, but okay. So we have different programs that we use. So basically, the reason this is a good question, Yasmin. The reason this is a good question is because we do one-on-one coaching for the entire year, to get you all the way through. And it includes all of those components I just shared with you: the leadership, getting you placed, getting you held accountable, the essay coach, and then also being strategic about your resume and also your college list. So some people want someone to hold their hand through the whole process. Some people want an in-between of that, want essay camp, but a little bit more. So we kind of have like a bronze, a silver, and a gold package. So what I'm going to show you is the essay camp, and that is our bronze package. Okay, that's our signature package. It's what we've been known for. That price is $48.47, and you get a coach, your personal one-on-one coach for your essay portion, for those 5 days. Okay. All right. So let me just see. Did I just do that here? So Yasmin, I'm popping this into the chat right now. That is the website, and I'll show you. But let me just check, because I think there's another question. Dr. Mohammed from Ghana, I'd love to know how to research should be best presented in the activities section. So the research, if you are doing research, there's a number of things you can do in the activities section, because it's depending on it's Common App or the UC section. The University of California gives you a lot more space to write, but your research should also be, if you're applying to an Ivy level institution, it will definitely come up in a supplemental essay. I do not recommend writing about research as your main personal statement, but it should come up as something in the supplements. So I would definitely put it there. And then, of course, it'll be in your activities section, but there's just very limited space. So that's not where you're going to get the most bang for your buck with the research. So, yeah. And again, to go back to those 4 questions, we call our core 4 signature questions. Who am I? What am I good at? What's something cool about me? And why this major? So I would presume that your research has to do with your major. And so it's going to fall in that 4th essay topic. Okay. I hope that helps. All right. Other questions, you guys. I'm an open book. So the only thing you have working against you is I'm on Eastern time today, and it's 10 o'clock. So let me just see if there's other questions that have come up. What's the cost? Yasmin, is that helpful? Or you can also book a call, and we can figure out what is right for you, for your son or daughter. Okay, go ahead and you can type it in there. All right, let me share with you. Okay. It's gonna hit 10 here. I'm happy to stay for like another 10 minutes. But for those of you who may need to pop off, please write in the chat one thing you learned today and one thing you're going to take action on. Okay. I ask that because when you type and you write it down, you're more likely to do it. So it's not a favor to me, it's a favor to yourself. What did you hear me say today? What's one thing that you learned and one thing that you know you can take action on? Okay, so do that, and I'm gonna share this. So Yasmin, it is the essay camp. So I'm gonna show you why it is the essay camp. It include right now, it's including a bunch of things you're getting as bonuses. So let me show you. Okay. So college application boot camp is sort of the all-inclusive of everything. And if you scroll here, you'll see the dates for essay camp. So all of these students basically took essay camp. And many of them also took what we call Dream College Academy. So what we did was we basically took Dream College Academy and College Essay Boot Camp, and they had a baby. And we call it College Application Boot Camp because we discovered that you need both to be successful. So it includes this. Here are the dates. And what you get as a bonus for essay camp is your group coaching starts now. So the good news is we meet every 2 weeks now, and I'm usually the one leading it. I'm not always the one leading it, but we have a team of people. So by and large, it's me. So every 2 weeks, so you don't have to wait for essay camp to start getting information that you need and take action steps now. So that's the benefit of signing up for essay camp, for college application boot camp. That includes essay camp. Okay. So we do coaching, group coaching calls. You get video tutorials. You get all the templates, all the things I just showed you with all the research we did for the report, with all of the data and the numbers. All of those things come as part of this process, because you can't have just essays, great essays, and not have the rest of all the pieces to fit together. So that's why we included the group coaching and the video tutorials in the essay camp. We didn't used to. You used to have to buy them separately. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm waiting, you guys. Don't be shy. Tell me what you learned and what you're going to take action on. That is the biggest benefit that you can give yourself, is to type in, what are you going to take action on? Okay. Okay. Okay, Yasmin, so was that helpful? You also welcome to book a call, not to worry. We can figure out whatever it is that you need. Yes, about level 5. Yasmin, where is your son or daughter applying to college? I'd love to know, because I can tell you what they need to do if I know that. Okay. Awesome. Gold star for you, Yasmin. Thank you. Okay, what else can I help you with, you guys? Again, I'm an open book. Happy to share. Okay. Okay, either I did a great job or I did a terrible job. I set up a call. Yeah. Okay, good. Currently taking a gap year because of some number of reasons, including the research I'm currently doing. How will the gap year impact my chances of getting in, and how should I talk about it? Okay, that's a big question. Taking a gap year. So does that mean you graduated from high school already, or you say more? Summer camp. Does summer camp count towards any of the levels? Summer, like just doing summer camp is going to be a level 1. being a leader at summer camp can be a level 2. Raising money for a summer camp can be possibly a level 3, possibly a level 4. So do you see how I'm like graduate with each thing? And it's like I'm graduating it, right? So I'll talk through. I think trend. If you can give me a little bit more information, I can be a little bit more helpful. So I'll just stall here for a second. So if you're still on, and 9 of you are still on, let's use community service as an example, because most students think the community service, oh, I just need community service. No. So doing community service is like level 1. Being, a president of a major organization on campus that does community service is level 2. And I don't mean like you started something and you guys meet once, a month for lunchtime. No, like organizing, maybe being the key club president or something like that traditionally does a lot of service for the school or other things. That would be a level 2. A level 3 is going to be like doing community service, nothing that you started or implemented, but like giving like 100 hours a week, or like doing community service over time, going every week for 2 hours to an organization, something like that. So to take that to the next level, Mateo is an example I use sometimes, and I didn't use him tonight. He lives in Oakland, and he solved the problem. The problem was he worked for the city council of Oakland, and he noticed that every time they had events, they needed volunteers. And so a problem is that high school students need community service hours, and the Oakland City Council needed volunteers. So problem, solution for a community he loves. The community he loves is helping high school students and helping Oakland. So the solution was he started a nonprofit 501(c) organization, and he basically recruited and would sort of just gather everybody, and he would post on Instagram. So any event that they needed help with, he would galvanize students and like deploy them to different events. Okay, so that's what he did, and he started that organization. It continued on as an organization even after he went on to college. He's now at UCLA. Okay, so almost anything you can think of can be various levels, but we help you figure out how you can tweak it just so slightly so that it becomes a level 4. Okay, last question. Yes, I graduated from high school. I applied to some schools and got rejected from all, and as an international student. Oh, you're an international student. I think yes. So, okay, I'll start by disclosing I am not an international student expert. I'll start with that. Number 2, you are most definitely right that there's not usually a lot of aid available or given for international students. So that's definitely didn't help your chances. Number 3, you probably didn't apply to a wide range of schools to set yourself up for success. That's number 3. Number 4, a gap year is for domestic students, that does not hurt you as long as you're going to do something with that. To give you an example, similarly, I worked with a student several years ago now who applied and made mistakes that we talked about tonight. Like he didn't apply to the right list of colleges. He applied to almost every top college without a good rest of the list. He didn't get help. He emphatically didn't ask for help for anybody reading his essays, all of the things that students make mistakes, and then was rejected. So actually he took 2 years off. He found that he was actually had a love of music. So it doesn't matter what your love is, but he sort of, I'm giving you the example. He dug deep into doing that, and he started being active in that, sort of finding his coolness factor and impact project through music. In the meantime, I don't even know that he went to community college. I think he just started again. So because there was nothing wrong with his transcript. It's different anyway, there's a lot of things here going into play, so I won't go into all the detail, but basically there was nothing wrong with his transcript and his academics. So he just basically took some time off. And as long as you can explain what you did and how you spent your time and it was compelling, that shouldn't hurt your chances. Okay. Again, I'm not the international expert, so just keep that in mind. Okay. All right, you guys, I think I've kept you long enough. Thanks for being here tonight. Again, so Yasmin, was that helpful? Trend, was that helpful? Okay. All right. We always like to improve. So just if you can, those of you who just on a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful was tonight's presentation? Let us know. On a scale, and I don't take it personally. Like I just like to improve and get better. So as long as you guys are finding value, that's important to me. But if you're not finding value, then I know that I should shake it up a little bit. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful was tonight, the presentation? Okay. Yeah. All right, good. It's 2 a.m. Oh my gosh, Trent, go to bed. I'm still awake listening to you. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Okay. I think I've seen you on my on the YouTube channel, I think. Yeah. Which, by the way, you guys, oh my gosh. I'm gonna just, if you can copy and paste that, I think. I just gave a link to a YouTube video that we posted 4 weeks ago. You guys, it has over 14,000 views. Craziness. So that's, I consider that viral in my world. So that video, if you can copy and paste that link that I put there, I give you my behind the scenes of like how we reviewed applications. It gives you, I'm guessing that's why it's so popular, because I really go behind the scenes, like this is what we did, this is what we took notes on, this is how we voted. So it's really behind the scenes on how the applications are voted on. So there you go. Or you can go to just my YouTube channel and just find it there. Okay. It's the only one that has that many views, I promise you. So, okay. Thanks, Alba. Hey, Alba. Nice to see you. Okay, I'll show you my YouTube channel so you can see what you're looking for. Okay, last thing I'll show you. Recommended channel. Very helpful. I give it an 11 out of 10. Okay, love it. Thank you. Nice to see you, Alba. Okay, so I'll just show you what you're looking for. So in case you can't, I don't know if you can copy and paste that link. So here's my YouTube channel, and there you go. It's this one right here. It's called This Is Harsh. So this is the one, you guys. So let's see here. If I go to videos. It might shock you. I once had to move 30 students from admitted to waitlist in a single day. I literally cried about it. What I'm about to share with you. So there you have it. That's the one that's been getting all the views. So, okay, everyone. I missed y'all. It's good to be back. I have been basically wearing North Carolina blue or Duke blue for the last 2 weeks. So I'm ready to get home and be back on Pacific time. So thank you all for sharing your time with me. I'm glad you found it valuable. And tomorrow I will be live, still from Ohio, at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. And tomorrow we are talking about predictions. I think that's the topic for tomorrow. Predictions of what's to come in the near future for college admissions. Okay. Bye, everyone. Great to see you. Oh, Shalini, good to see you. Bye, guys. See y'all tomorrow.